Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Now, I've been in the website design and creation niche for quite some time now, and after experimenting with dozens upon dozens of web hosting service and hearing about them, researching about them, I can honestly say that finding the right one took me years. And of course, there's so many options and opinions and technical jargon to work through. So over the course of my journey, I managed to find a company called Hostinger, and I decided to do this review of them just to give you an idea of what they're like and to discuss whether or not I'd recommend them based on my experience. Spoiler alert, I do. Now, before I get into the reason why, I'll just say that in this video I'll talk about their features, and I'll try to explain some of the more technical aspects so that you don't need to get a master's in IT to know what you're buying, and I'll get into some of the pros and cons of using Hostinger, as well as some of their plans and pricing so that by the end of this video, you can decide whether they're the right web hosting platform for you or not. Now, I want to make it absolutely clear that I'm in no way sponsored by them, and my goal as always when I do a review is going to be 100% honest. So on that note, I'll start by saying that I think that Hostinger is a really good option for startups because it's relatively cheap and does a really good job. But on the flip side, they don't have all the nice added bonus features that some other companies like, for example, Bluehost does. And just to give you guys an example, Bluehost offers terabytes of storage and multiple security options, but on the other hand, Hostinger is pretty reliable and offers a lot of very beginner-friendly web development tools that still definitely deliver. So if you don't need much in terms of more technical stuff, and most people who aren't IT whizzes won't, I think they might be a good option. But if you want to get straight to the discounts, you can check out the affiliate links that are down in the description for all the deals that I'm about to cover. And also make sure to copy and paste site starters into the coupon code box during checkout to get an additional 10% off, which is a deal you won't be able to find anywhere else. And just to be clear, even though we pride ourselves on being completely honest, we are affiliates. So if you do decide to use one of our links, it does help the channel, which also helps us give you guys more and more high quality content. Okay, so what is Hostinger? For those of you not familiar, Hostinger is a web hosting company that was founded in 2004, and there are a few points that I should make about them. Firstly, while they primarily provide web hosting services, they pretty recently branched out into web development as well back in 2019. Since then, they've offered the tools to easily build, drag and drop websites and then host those websites on their servers, making them more of a one-stop shop for both web hosting and web development. And early in 2023, they launched an AI-powered web development tool, which basically minimizes the work it takes to build a website by letting AI do a bunch of the basic work for you. Now, signing up is really simple. You enter your details, pay for your plan, the normal, and then you'll be taken to the tools dashboard where you can get started on building your website or moving your existing website onto their platform. And if you're hesitant to sign up for one of their paid plans, or you're newer to web development and hosting, they do have a 30-day free trial so you can experiment and make sure you understand what you're getting into before paying anything. And don't feel ashamed for learning. Even the pros do this, and everybody's got to start somewhere. Each tool is different and takes a little getting used to. Okay, so now I want to talk a little bit about what they offer and what they cost to give you an idea of whether or not they're what you're looking for in terms of plans and pricing or not. Okay, so there's a lot to cover here when it comes to cost, so bear with me for a minute. Hostinger essentially offers you 4 different plans, each with its own set of features. But I'll start by saying what's included with every plan. There's the AI SEO recommendation tool, a drag and drop website builder, the AI website builder, as well as 150 pre-made templates for you to choose from or adjust, Google Analytics integration for managing your paid Google ads, marketing integration for other tools you might use. Oh, and I should add that the web building tools are all operated in WordPress, but while their single plan can only access the website builder and WordPress, it can't fully access all WordPress features. And they all offer some safety features like DDoS, or distributed denial of service protection, which is when your site gets flooded with fake traffic and shuts down because it can't handle all the load. A firewall, a virus scanner, and secure access helps stop hackers from being able to access your site's backend. Now, the first plan they offer is called the single plan. It costs $2 a month, and you'll get to host one website with up to 50 gigs of storage. You'll get weekly backups of your site's data, you'll get one email account, and you'll get unlimited SSLs and 100 gigs worth of bandwidth for your site per month, which basically means after using 100 gigs due to a lot of traffic on your site, it will go down. So if you expect a lot of traffic, I might consider another plan. Now, SSLs are basically digital security certificates that prove that your website is safe and trustworthy and are very much needed to keep your site active. is people do not tend to visit unsafe sites because they can be dangerous, and there's a pop-up that comes on most computers when you have an antivirus to not visit the site. You've probably seen them pop-ups before saying the site you're visiting isn't trusted and jumped right off it. This is because they didn't have a proper SSL. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, let's talk about their next plan, their premium plan. This plan costs a little under $3 a month and gives you everything the single plan does, as well as the ability to host up to 100 websites and hold 100 gigs of storage, plus unlimited bandwidth, a free domain name that you can use to host your site, as well as weekly backups. Okay. Next is the business plan, which costs about $4 a month, and this one essentially adds much faster performance to your sites, gives you 200 gigs of storage, enables e-commerce features like WooCommerce integration, gives you 0% transaction fees on purchases made through your website, and offers up to 20 different payment methods for your business. I think this one is more ideal for e-commerce stores, as you can really maximize by hosting lots of different businesses while managing them all from one place, and the 0% transaction fees definitely don't hurt. And lastly, the Cloud Startup plan, which is their top of the line plan, costs roughly $10 a month. You get to build and host up to 300 websites, 10 times faster performance speeds than their basic plan, a dedicated domain name that you own forever, even if you migrate off Hostinger in the future, and priority support in case of an emergency. This plan essentially also finds the data center that's nearest to you and prioritizes your site to this one, giving you much better speeds when you access your site to manage or update it. However, you can also do analytics to find out where most of your traffic is coming from and move your site to a server that's closer to your customer, so that they have shorter wait times when loading your site. And I'd say that this is a lot more important, as long wait times can really diminish your site's usability and conversion rate. Now, I've also used their VPS services, which is basically when you combine a VPN or virtual private network with a server and create a much more secure and well-hidden server, which is ideal for companies that deal with important data like financial details and social security numbers or IDs, the kind of stuff that you'd want to keep hidden and safe. So their VPS plans start at around $5 a month and go up to almost $20 a month for their most advanced features like 32 gigs of RAM and 400 gigs of storage space. And again, I just want to reiterate, if at any point you decide you want to try Hostinger, you can use the links that are down in the description below. They don't cost you anything, and they might even get you a bit of a discount, which you wouldn't get if you went directly to their websites. Okay, so now that we've made it through their plans, features, and pricing, let's talk about some of the negative issues that I found when using this company, as I did promise to be 100% honest, so no stone gets left unturned. Okay, so I'm someone who likes to know that my websites are well protected, as it's essentially like having a good security system for your house. And the thing is, Hostinger doesn't offer that much in terms of security for your site. They do give you a limited version of NordVPN, which includes a great antivirus and firewall. And look, Nord is a great company. They have a great firewall, and their antivirus tools do really protect you against most viruses. But you only get a limited version, and if you want full protection, you'll have to pay extra, which I would highly recommend. Otherwise, you could fall victim to ransomware, which is basically when someone hijacks your site, shuts it down, and holds your site hostage until you pay whatever they say to unlock it. This can and does utterly destroy businesses, and if it happens to you, it will most definitely end up costing you way more than good protection would. So while I found services like Bluehost do charge a little bit more than Hostinger, they include up to 3 firewalls to choose from, so you don't need to pay anything on top. And the next negative would be something that I alluded to earlier when I said that they have a really lean system. It's basically designed to give you really good but more basic features, all at a lower price point. Because of this, I wouldn't really recommend using the AI web builder too much, because in my experience, it created really generic content that won't help make your site stand out much. This might not be an issue for you, but I specifically like adding a few personal touches to my sites, find that it really helps resonate with people, and you'll end up getting a lot more engagement that way. But also just keep in mind that more complicated systems are not always better. I mean, the design is very basic, but that's great if you're not a web hosting guru. Simpler is sometimes more effective and better. Now, again, while this wasn't a problem for me, I'd say that anyone who's looking to create a site that handles a lot of large-scale data, like large-scale video transfers or even hosting games, might struggle with Hostinger, as they have quite a small amount of server space overall, even on the top tier plans. Also, at a certain point, they don't let you buy additional space, so you're kind of limited to around 400 gigs max on the top VPS plans, which might seem like a lot, but can get used up very quickly with larger files. So if you know that for some reason you need a ton of space, I might recommend shopping around, but for the vast majority of websites, even 50 gigs, which comes with their lowest tier plan, is more than enough. Okay, now that we got the negatives out of the way, let's touch on the things that I liked about Hostinger and why I'd still recommend them. Part of the reason that Hostinger really impressed me is because of how cost effective it is, coupled with the fact that they include quite a lot of really high quality features, even on their most basic plan. I'd say that they're a great option for people who are just starting out with their websites or who don't need a lot of space to run sites and are ultimately looking for a reasonably priced solution. I also specifically like VPS, which is basically when you combine a VPN, like I mentioned, a virtual private network, with a server and create a much more secure and well-hidden server, giving you the ability to create a lot of websites and host them all in one place, which really makes managing them a lot easier instead of having to manually log into different sites all the time. The SEO tool also works well, is really helpful, and it's definitely allowed me to improve my sites well enough to recommend Hostinger even for just that. Then there's also the speed aspect. All the sites that I host are really responsive. There are minimal load times and I haven't had a single crash to date. However, this also depends on your personal preference when building the site, and because people don't like waiting for sites that take too long, I'd recommend using the simpler elements that are less resource intensive, like limiting the amount of animation and videos you keep on your site unless it's on a specific page, but probably not all on the main page. Now, I did also try out the VPS service for a company that I was building a site for that wanted extra protection for their clients' personal data, and it ended up being perfect for them. So far, they haven't experienced any data breaches and the site hasn't gone down once. But if you do deal with a lot of sensitive information, I'd recommend that you might opt for the VPS. It's just much easier to manage and rely upon, and you don't want to risk getting a lawsuit for data insecurity, especially as data regulations have tightened so much over the last few years. Okay, so finally, would I recommend Hostinger? I definitely would. And even though they don't offer as much space and choices in terms of protection as, say, Bluehost does, I'll say that this is by far the most straightforward and easy to use web hosting service that I've come across in my journey so far. Not to mention the most affordable, especially if you're a startup or a small business that's just beginning or looking for a less costly platform to host your sites on. I also really like that they included most of their features across all their plans, which means that even the low tier plans give you a lot of value for money, which is kind of rare in the industry. Their servers are top notch and don't create any slowdowns or crashes, at least in my experience with them. And their web development tools are really easy to understand, which means even a novice can build their own site without having to spend too much time figuring out how to get a sleek and professional looking final product. And honestly, I can't imagine managing websites the old fashioned way with only WordPress and having to log on to each one to tweak something or update it, especially after using Hostinger, which centralizes all your websites and the whole process and makes it all a lot easier. So whether you plan on having a bunch of different websites or even just one, I would definitely consider Hostinger. Okay, so that about sums up my honest review of Hostinger, and I hope it was detailed enough to give you a clear image of what they offer and whether they're what you're looking for or not. So if you're new to this, my advice is that it's best to choose a simple tool that doesn't overcomplicate things too much. And in this case, Hostinger is pretty good. They're fast, reliable, and make updates and site maintenance a breeze, which gives you more time to focus on actually running your business and your life rather than stressing over technicalities that you shouldn't have to. Okay, at this point, if you're ready to give Hostinger a try, check out the affiliate link that's down in the description and make sure to copy and paste site starters into the coupon code box during checkout to get an additional 10% off, which is a deal you won't be able to get if you go directly to their website. And just to be clear, even though we pride ourselves on being completely honest, we are affiliates, so if you decide to use one of our links, it does help the channel, like I mentioned before, which also helps us give you guys more and more high quality content. Now, I know that this was a complicated one, so if you guys have any questions or would like something specific answered, feel free to leave a comment below and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. And of course, as per usual, thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more honest reviews in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.